Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah. Greetings to everyone world over, all our brothers and sisters across the globe in different countries, in different continents, in different time zones, in different health condition, in different wellness condition, and different economic conditions. When we talk about different economic conditions, we had lots of challenges, lots of jolts, lot of problems, lot of difficulties, but resilient. Indians are tough. They can take on any challenge, any point of time, in any situation, anywhere. So I'm proud of my brothers and sisters across the globe. And I'm so very happy to share this morning, this afternoon, this evening, because people are joining all the way from Canada, and they're joining from United States, Latin America. They're joining from European Union, Middle East, Central Asia, ASEAN, South Asia, African continent, and of course, beautiful Bharat. So wherever you are, whatever time zone you are, most important thing on this planet is please take care of yourself, take care of your health. We do not know. Somebody told first wave, then told second wave, then told third wave. We don't want any more waves now. Calm down, calm down, calm down. And today is a very important day because every Friday we organize Women Empowerment series. Every Friday is dedicated. I myself don't know, but how it has got it packed throughout the entire program. Every Friday is dedicated. So today, ladies and gentlemen, let's extend a very, very warm welcome to all the distinguished ladies who are joining us for this program. And Indian Union Budget 2022, education in nation building. And if we want 5 trillion, 6 trillion, 10 trillion economy, it cannot happen without the support of our mother, our sister, our wife, our daughter, our granddaughter, our children, our students, and our teachers and our educators and our counselors. Everybody is a part in this process. This evening is beautifully packed by Madam Rita P. Taneja ma'am. She is the principal DPS Jaipur, very, very dynamic woman, and I hold her in a great respect. And yahi se, as an elder brother, I send her all my blessings, and which should reach her, although it's raining heavily, sun is not coming, but still you can feel sun is there. Madam Neelam Bhardwaji, she is the principal, Sanskar School, Jaipur. Madam Anu Bhatia, principal, Saint Edmund School, Jawaharnagar, Jaipur. It's a golden triangle. People say Delhi, Agra, Jaipur. It's Jaipur, Jaipur, Jaipur. Okay, great. Then we have got Madam Reema Grewal, co-founder, Grewal Conceptual Learning, New Delhi. And we have got Dr. Sheetal Sharma ma'am. She is the assistant professor, Center for European Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Now, I'm grateful to all of them that they have been very kind to spare their most valuable and precious time to be with us and to share their vision. Let me just show a few of the slides to set the context so that the people, those are joining today. Today is the World Cancer Day. And ladies and gentlemen, please take care of your health. Think positive, talk positive, live positive, eat organic, eat less. During this entire pandemic, I have taken only one-time meal and I'm more vibrant, I'm more energetic, and I'm more happy what I feel. And same thing is applicable. I will vouch for everybody, eat less on this planet, because somebody yesterday only frowned and told me that Dr. Gulshan Sharma, from your birth till date, you have eaten 16 tons of food. That is the calculation. I don't know. I'm very poor at mathematics, how they have told me. So I personally feel, what is this human body, this energy? But of course, time is limited on this planet and we all have to live happily and leave some legacy behind and do something good for the humanity. So World Cancer Day, please take care of yourself. Today is also International Day of Human Fraternity. So we would like to convey a very warm welcome to all our brothers and sisters across the globe, wherever you are joining from. We are a happy family of 31.46 million. And I have got children, I have got grandchildren, I have got sisters, I've got, daughters, granddaughters, whatsoever you can call it. I'm extremely happy person. And I feel Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam is the wonderful philosophy which we have to take. Our chamber takes care of the non-resident Indians, bridge between India, non-resident Indians, corporate, and of course, we focus on services sector. We brought India's first finishing school way back in 1994. That is for the services sector. And we have been focusing on two areas, personality and communication skills. Of course, a lot of research, collaboration, creativity, and a couple of other things. The best part of this finishing school, everything is musical. Everything is with dance, with humor, with fun, with happiness, with passion, with stimulation, storytelling. 52,000 youth and 35,000 teachers. They have gone through the process and they are the part of the global family today. The only thing what has happened is that this pandemic, we never knew initially when the pandemic came, how long it's going to be there. Everybody was preparing a month or two, this problem will go away and all. Nobody knew it's going to stay here. Nobody knows today what is the next coming. Nobody knows. So be prepared, be mentally strong, and be happy. Just haal mein Prabhu rakhe, khush rahiye. So finishing school has been converted into the total digital, and it's known as e-Gurukul for service industry. That's on the World Tourism Day, 27th September, the coining. We start early in the morning at 4 o'clock. And after this webinar, I sleep like a log. Because if you sleep early, you get up. Why 4 o'clock? Because Australia, New Zealand, they give me the wake-up call. And thereafter, we come to ASEAN. Then we go to Middle East. Then we go to Central Asia. And then we go to rest of world, wherever we have to travel. So it's a global confluence. Here is the web portal, icsiindia.in. If you'll go on this web portal, you can get so much of global wisdom, all the knowledge. And I'm so very happy during this pandemic. 12,000 speakers have come on this platform. All the conferences and events which we have organized, I'm grateful to all of them. Little disruption, interruption, 25th of March 2020, complete lockdown. Doctors, nurses, paramedical, doing great service, saving every life. And our chamber decided, why not we should take care of 1.65 billion children. Those are away from schools, colleges, universities, institutions, teachers. Teachers, you are burnt out. Teachers, you have put in best of efforts. Teacher, you are remarkable. Teachers, I salute you as a soldier, as a major from the Indian Army. I give my salutation to all of you. You have done a wonderful. You are adaptable. You can take on any challenges, any pressures. And parents, you must have realized now how difficult it is to look after your two kids, and where the teachers and trainers and educators and principals, how much they must be taking on by the time they get back home. Oh my God. So let's build education together. And parents, grandparents, we all are partner in this system now. During this entire pandemic, we have been focusing on teachers and youth. New education policy, 29th of July, 2020, in the middle and the thick of the pandemic, 37 sector scale councils, they are trying their level best, whatsoever can be done. And new modes, new pedagogies, new andragogies, new ways, education, skills, and outcome of these two is inseparable, micro, small, and medium enterprise. Tomorrow is Vasant Panchami, well in advance, wherever you are. Tomorrow we are going to have a new education policy 2020 deliberation, special event coming up at 3 p.m. and that will be coming from Varanasi. Tomorrow, we also have to take care of your health. And I'm so very happy to share with all of you. Tomorrow, we will be completing 90 webinars on Ayurveda for global wellness. Vishwa Kalyan ke liye Ayurveda, 7 p.m. And tomorrow evening, we will be taking you to beautiful 45 million plus people, 8 beautiful states of Northeast, Tripura, Manipur, Assam, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim. We will travel together and all the dignitaries from the Northeast, they'll be with me tomorrow. You will have Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram, Assam, and Meghalaya. They all will share their vision, how education can be input, valuable input in nation building. Napoleon Hill, whatever human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's come together. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to get into details. You all have gone through the budget. If you have not gone through, I would request you, please go through. Prime Minister Gati Shakti, inclusive development, productivity enhancement, sunrise opportunity, road, railway, airport, port, mass transport, waterways, logistic infrastructure. On the top is women empowerment. Give right opportunities to the women in all walks of life. You can make 10 trillion economy of India. They are to be taken care of. We also fold our hands. I can see the women hand right there. Women in nation building. We are also there. All of us together, multi-dimensional perspective. Yes, 200 new TV channels coming up. First to 12th standard. And of course, we would give our best whatsoever. And girl power, girl child power, women power, all that has to be considered and has to be taken into consideration. This program is going live world over on the YouTube channel GS Motivator. Subscribe it, like it, share it, comment it, press the bell icon, be a part of it. And I wish to share with the entire galaxy. Today we have completed 1,429 webinars during this pandemic. No break, right from 25th of March 2020, not even single day. And we have been bringing best of wisdom, the global wisdom. And you know who is the best beneficiary? Dr. Gulshan Sharma, Major Dr. Gulshan Sharma, because I'm a student. I'm learning from all of them. So ladies and gentlemen, with these words, let me take you, join me in extending a very warm welcome to the 5 wonderful ladies, our family members. Those are going to share their vision under the dynamic leadership of Rita Taneja ma'am. And I would request her to take on the floor, introduce the context, and from there we move on. Hearty welcome. Namaskar. Thank you very much for joining us. Neelam ji, aap bhi aa jaiye, samne aa jaiye, rubaru ho jaiye. Yes, that's great. Wonderful.
Good evening, sir.
Hearty welcome to everybody. And I would request Rita ma'am, please take on the floor. And Sheetal ma'am, you have to give the final finale, because from the school education, pedagogies, andragogies, and whatever you want to talk about, creativity, innovation, collaboration, finally, you have to give me the services exports from India. हमारे पास बच्चे बहुत हैं, हमारे पास युवा पीढ़ी बहुत है, और बाहर देखिए बच्चे पैदा नहीं हो रहे हैं, population aging हो रही है, and they need support system. India can give that support system. Why not our teachers, our educators, our counselors, our trainers, and our technocrats? They can go world over. अगर विश्व गुरु बनना है तो इन 5 नारियों को साथ लेना पड़ेगा, नारी शक्ति को महसूस करना होगा, और नारी शक्ति से ही आपको हर तरह की शक्ति मिलेगी. इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ आपका बहुत बहुत हार्दिक अभिनंदन. And Madam Rita Taneja ma'am.
Good evening to everybody. Thank you, Dr. Sharma, for such kind words and such an energetic beginning to the discussion that we are about to have. Thank you so much for creating this Friday as the special Women Empowerment Day. It is very much in tune with what our Prime Minister is saying and doing and making it happen. I welcome all the ladies who are here today to speak upon the union budget and how the budget is going to help the national education. I think for India, at least, what I feel is the pandemic has acted as a catalyst. It has brought the change that it might have taken decades to come for technology to be so immersive, engaging, meaningful, and so much in hands of everybody that we have the whole scenario of the knowledge landscape has enhanced, changed, and mobilized. And I think the budget I think it's in hope that we see in the budget that how we are going to move forward. And just as the health sector has been given a lot of importance, even education now has been recognized as the only way to move forward for our coming generation. But of course, there are pitfalls and there are a lot of drawbacks, and we are the nation of numbers. So definitely there are a lot of challenges for our government and for schools and higher education. We would like to introduce today as a first speaker of the evening, Mrs. Neelam Bharadwaj, Principal CBSE School Sanskar in the pink city of Jaipur. Neelam ji has been involved in the field of education for almost 2 decades, and she has been felicitated with various awards like Achieving Excellence in Education 2015, Best Teacher Award 2015 by Bank of Baroda, Excellence in Education by IIHM and the ISA British Council School Award. Ms. Varadwaj has also received the prestigious 6th Principals and Teachers Award and the Digital Learning Top Schools of India Award. During her current tenure as principal, Sanskar has been recognized as one of the top 50 schools in India, International Curriculum 2017 by Univariety and Fortune. And other than this, Neelam Bharadwaj has been one of the leading principals of the city of Jaipur, bringing in new pedagogies in education, winning lots of prizes and accolades. She has been a great motivator for us students to always experiment with new pedagogies and making a mark in the city of Jaipur. I welcome Neelam ji and to express her views upon the budget and the impact on education. Neelam ji.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Rita ma'am, for your kind words. I'm so thankful that you have invited me today here as one of the panelists. And good evening, Dr. Gulshan Sharma and all my fellow panelists. And yes, Rita ma'am, I would definitely agree with you that Dr. Gulshan Sharma has done such a positive beginning. And I'm also feeling so energetic. Thank you so much. Without wasting much time, I would like to begin as we are talking about the education and the budget. So I would like to begin, with NEP. Education is the keystone of economic and social progress, and of course, children hold the future. To ensure they receive a quality education, NEP 2020 came into existence. And we all know that it's a revolutionary, well-defined, well-planned education policy that focuses on promoting, creating abilities, innovation, and of course, improve learning abilities in students. NEP is basically focused to nurture the skill-based education, learning approaches, which will largely benefit students. And I'm so happy to say that while preparing the budget this year, many of these points have also taken into consideration. We all know, Rita ma'am, as Dr. Gulshan Sharma also mentioned about the pandemic, the education sector has been largely affected as schools, colleges, universities, and other educational institutions remain shut due to this prevailing COVID-19 pandemic situation. So giving an impetus to pandemic-affected education sector, Union budget actually focused on filling the gaps in learning which were created through school closure. And it's a very commendable thing. So if we talk about a decision of opening digital university, definitely it will have quality e-content, which would be beneficial to both teachers as well as students. It will provide access to world-class quality education with personalized learning experience. When they have decided to open a digital university, and if we talk about one class, one TV channel program, that also is going to be very, very helpful in providing supplementary education by television. We all know that during this pandemic, most of the classes were running online. So the importance was of clear data, quality Wi-Fi connection, which was actually not possible in rural areas and in small cities. And it is not about the time when it was locked down and all the classes were running online. Now also, even when we are running our classes on hybrid mode, this data connection is required. and which is actually not available in villages and small cities. But of course, every house has a functional television. So this will definitely put education within grasp of each and everyone. And if we talk about setting up e-labs in a vast country like ours, where there aren't many well-equipped labs in schools, so it will be definitely a boon for learners. It shows that government's plans to highlight digitization in order to give a promote online education.
Thank you so much, Neelamji, for your views. Now on the next
Thank
panel,
you, Rita.
I'll request Anu Bhatia ma'am to come forward and share her views. Anu ma'am is a proud principal of St. Edmund's School, Jawaharnagar, Jaipur. She has embarked her journey with St. Edmund's as a nursery student and crossed the junctions of a teacher, a superintendent, an administrator, vice principal, and she reached the destination of a principal. She is a postgraduate in business administration with 20 years of teaching experience. She strongly believes that empathy and ethics are strongest elements, and we are mentors. We as mentors should always follow democratic leadership style to get creative ideas and team spirit. She has been a mentor with the CBSE, and she's a lead trainer with the CBSE, and she has also been awarded by the British Council and many other entrepreneurial projects and associations with many countries. She has worked as a master trainer, resource person, content reviewer, developer for various CBSE programs and pedagogical trainings. Her vision towards this profession is a blessing. Anu ma'am, coming from the commerce background, we would now like to have understanding from you as to how this budget is going to impact the scenario of education. And as Neela ma'am just told us about the setting up of the digital universities, having more channels, and how the connectivity of the Wi-Fi is going to be improved so that we could have more internet connectivity, availability, enabling the digital education throughout our nation. Could you please take it forward from here and help us understand how education will be benefited by this present budget that was announced on 1st February 2022?
Thank you, Rita ma'am. And thank you, ICSI, Dr. Gulshanji, for such an inspiring start. It really put a spark on us. And as Neelam ma'am, she rightly said, and she has covered most of the areas, but I would like to add it on. As a commerce student, ma'am has mentioned, yes, in the books, in the economy, and whenever we are talking about the economics, we can really imagine how Indian government is keenly looking about the education sector. So since independence, if we observe, the government is focusing on three major areas, that is health, education, and agriculture. But again, planning and execution to bridge up this gap, government has to like continuous involvement is required. Execution is still left, but seeing the changes in this budget, which is fulfilling the vision of National Education Policy 2020, it gives that government is approaching towards educational reforms. Like ma'am has said about the digital universities, yes, of course, it is really appreciated because the government has allowed the existing universities and added a big fund to it, to yes, a big amount to be invested in these universities so that education can be imparted equally and in a qualitative manner in remote areas as well. But if we are talking about the network connection, for this also they have planned this optical fiber by 2025. That is a welcoming step, wherein they are trying to connect the villages as well by solving this internet problem. So that is a good initiative taken in this budget. A lot of fund is there to set this optical fiber, but the vision is up to by 2025, but it is a good step. Then if we are talking about this DESH stack is digital ecosystem for skilling and livelihood. even CBSE has initiated the step by allowing the schools to work on the vocational subjects from 6th onwards. Students are allowed to take the very creative subject, that is financial literacy. This year, we are going to add it into the syllabus, financial literacy, and then in a senior section, it is about financial management. So these kind of virtual subjects in knowledge, when students, if dropout cases or if due to some any other reason they cannot continue with higher studies, at least with that content they can become job oriented. Yes, so these kind of steps are really appreciable. Then if we talk about the positive step, that is government has put a reduction on the interest rates on educational loan. But I would suggest if some sort of uh, exemptions in GST in services which the schools are putting into it, because the policies are or can be implemented successfully when right infrastructure and right quality of people are there. So we need to invest on them. But for that, every investment, we need some concessions. So every time a huge GST is going to increase the cost. So these kind of these would have been taken into consideration. Rest very positive steps. And if we talk about that is also a welcoming step. NEP 2020 has considered a lot because they are going to fund the children for the creative ideas, like lot many thinking about these startups. If we observe in last few years, what I observe when Digital India concept was there, so only 40 to 50 startups were there. But today, if we observe, almost more than 5,000 startups, and many are becoming unicorn. At college and university level students, they are into it. So these kind of things are very good. And in this budget, lot of scope and lot of new schemes are there to promote these kind of practices. So to support this educational form, government has taken a very good jump by giving this 12% budget allocation to the Ministry of Education. That is a very welcoming step. So my views is this. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anu ma'am. I think just like Dr. Gulshan Sharma said, that the now goals of the Amrit Kal, the PM Modi has given us 4 priorities: the Gati Shakti, the inclusive development, financing of the investments, productivity enhancement. Education sector goals have been set up by universalization of quality education, one class, one TV channel program to be expanded to 200 TV channels, virtual labs and skilling e-labs to promote critical thinking and simulated learning environment has been thought about. Digital university, of course, will be established with world-class quality universal education. We're trying to close the gap between the India and the global education. High quality digital content will be delivered through the digital teachers, and for skill development also, they are trying to develop a digital ecosystem for skilling and livelihood. As Anu ma'am said, the Deshtak e-portal will be launched to promote online training. Startups have been promoted to facilitate drone. Now we have with us Reema Grewal, who comes from a family of authors and renowned family who is authored, and we have all grown up reading the books of her father-in-law, and she herself has carved a very special niche for herself in the field of economics. Reema Grewal is co-founder of Grewal Conceptual Learning. She's a chartered accountant with BCom honors, and she is a member of ICAI, and she has done her BCom honors from Sri Venkateshwar College, Delhi University. She is in the field of direct taxation for the past 10 years and has been working with one of the big 4 accounting firms before having co-founded Grewal Conceptual Learning, which is a digital platform striving to enhance the conceptual clarity of students towards accountancy subject. As on today, I, as a school principal, look up to the Grewal family to guide and help us And the latest contribution of the Grewal family has been now bringing the commerce virtual exhibition to the students of CBSE all across the nation. They are mentoring, guiding the children to make commerce more interesting, lively for our children. Reema ma'am, I would love to hear your views coming from such an illustrious background. I would love to hear your views on how the government has planned to help the sector of education, what impetus has been given to schools. Reema ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, first of all. Good evening to everyone. Thank you so much, Rita ma'am. Thank you so much, Major Sharma. Thank you so much. And Anu ma'am, Sheetal ma'am, Neelam ma'am. Thank you. I frankly am not much of a speaker, more of a listener. So it's great that the stage has been set so well for me. And I frankly am going to go a little off the track, probably talking about things that have not been tackled here in the budget, if I may be allowed to do that.
Reema ma'am,
Yes,
Reema
sir.
ma'am, as it is often said that education to be learning centric, that means the participants got to be happy.
Yeah.
I've got 11 WhatsApp over here on
Right,
one
sir.
sentence of Rita Taneja ma'am that you're going to set some commerce virtual expo. People want to know about that.
So I will. Should I tell you about that right now, or
I don't know.
afterwards?
I would say in your
So,
entire packaging, please give that in detail.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will give you a brief background
Sure,
about that.
sure.
So this is more about the different pedagogies on which students are, working along with, very experienced seniors. So what they are doing is they are working on various projects and various assignments wherein they are practically applying. As far as commerce is concerned, many topics related to accountancy, economics, business studies for that matter, they are trying to be innovative with the way a concept or a particular topic can be learned. So that it's a huge program or a huge project that was going on, and students have been working really hard on it. So the end result of that would be most likely that the output will be shared with the students or children who are studying the subjects across India. So it's still being worked upon, and most likely things should be out soon. Even I was a resource person in Delhi, in Gurgaon. There was a such a expo. A part of that expo happened here. Jaipur also it happened, and Grewal sir and my husband Puneet had visited as resource people. So it was indeed a very good experience to see students doing so well and so differently, from the traditional ways of studying and learning and cramming up things also to some extent. It's been a wonderful experience to see things happening. Apart from this, what we also do is with Grewal sir and other resource people on the subject of accountancy, we hold webinars basically, and that's for teachers and students, and to clarify their concepts and whatever is possible, wherever there is a gap. And in COVID times, it's been all the more difficult for everyone to meet that gap. So to meet that gap, we have been holding a lot of webinars. We held it in the last few months. We're planning to hold more now coming months. So those with sorry, those are targeted to cater to the students and teachers, and especially in accountancy. So that's a little bit of introduction of what we've been doing in the digital medium. We've also launched this app wherein we are providing a lot of practice material and conceptual explanations on accountancy related topics and all. So students are benefiting from that. My point is, if you have to have a phone in hand, might as well do something productive, right? Why do you want to surf and do Facebook and Instagram? Might as well do something nice and productive, right? If you have to have a gadget in hand. So that's what we were working on. And coming back to the point, we are talking about education and nation building in relation to the budget, of course. So I'm excuse me for going a little off track, but what I have seen in these last 2 years, students have not gone to school. They've probably not seen the face of schools, the physical learning, the physical education. They have just not experienced it at all, right? I personally know a few kids, especially the younger ones, who have started to develop speech disorders, right, and other physical and mental impediments. Those little children, they have not been, in that social interaction scene of social interaction. They're not going to school. They're not playing much. They're not doing those things which a young child should do. They've started developing these, I should not call disabilities, but disorders, right? And to some extent, or to a very large extent, they actually are related to this COVID time where the schools were not working, the schools were not open. Now, again, I have a 3-year-old. I've seen her study online. It does not work. Very frankly, it does not work with such small kids. In their formative years, in their these starting molding years, online is probably not the way, right? But of course, COVID, we could not help it. We had to learn the ways of the trade real fast. The teachers learned, the students learned, we parents, as parents, we learned. We've all developed ourselves in these last 2 years to an extent probably nobody imagined. So surely schools have switched, teachers have switched to these new modes of teaching, and a lot of emphasis is being put on these channels and all in the budget as well, in these as ma'am also explained, digital universities, etc. My point is that why are we not, or why is the government, or why the experts are not working on something wherein this learning loss of 2 years is being addressed? No, I mean, not much is being done about that. My point is that a lot is being done on these digital arenas. Government is doing a lot, but what are we planning to do on the loss that has happened in these last 2 years, where students have not gone to school? They probably not grasped those important concepts, important learnings. That is something that I felt was lacking. There could have been some strategies or some incentives or something of that sort that could have been given in the budget, wherein this loss could have been filled in, this gap could have been filled in. That's something that I wanted to add, which probably I thought was not dealt with in the budget. Now, if we talk about what all has been given in the budget, we've discussed that pretty much in detail. But one thing I would want to specifically stress upon in this budget, which has been given, which is I believe significantly going to invest in or benefit the kids, especially in the rural areas, is this one class, one channel initiative, the e-learning one class, one channel initiative that they're planning to do. What I understand is that they will probably have experts giving a class, and this in probably various regional languages will be given out to students wherever they are sitting, be it metropolitans, be it cities, villages, or wherever. Of course, if infrastructure allows, I believe this could be one very important incentive to give to the students. Now, how we sitting in metropolitan cities in such areas have that edge here. We have that access to brilliant teachers and brilliant resource people and brilliant facilities. The kids who are sitting in rural areas, in villages, do not have that access. They probably have that sort of they have schools, they have teachers, most likely, but that standardization is lacking. What I feel is that standardization is lacking, and if this one class, one channel initiative is actually effective, then I believe that standardization can be brought in the sense that whatever the, the child who's studying in a a metropolitan city, from teachers who have all the facilities to them, and all the school that is giving all the facilities, all the learnings that can be given, if this the kid who's sitting in the village is also able to grasp that through these channels, there will be a huge, breaking down of that gap. So I think this particular initiative was the one that could be a, sparkling initiative. So, and one more thing I would like to add here, which is a little again different from what we've discussed. We all say, we all think, I mean, not all maybe, but some parents are thinking that, students should start going back to school, should start, even I am one of those parents who thinks that students should actually start going back to school, very frankly, very honestly. Not because I'm tired of keeping my kid at home and all that, no, but I totally believe that these are the years when they have to have that social interaction, they have to have that communication. So I think they must, and also, as a matter of fact, across the globe, medical practitioners are suggesting that kids are, least at risk. By God's grace, so far, that is what has been, propagated, I would say. So why not open the schools? At least open for a hybrid, model, like it was working earlier. Open it in a hybrid model. Let the kids come. Whoever wants to come, let them come. Otherwise, chali raha hai online to, right? So I feel that government has focused on the digital education very appropriately, but they have lacked on that loss of learning which has happened in the last 2 years. So that has not been addressed. So focus is somewhere, I feel focus is shifted from totally from the physical education part, which has, gone 2 steps behind in these last 2 years. It has shifted from that to advancing the digital education. And digital, future is digital, but it cannot take place of the brick and mortar schools, I feel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Seema ma'am. Very, very thought-provoking words and questions. We all know that due to pandemic-induced closure of the schools, our children, particularly in the rural areas and from the scheduled caste, tribes, and other weaker sections, have lost almost 2 years of formal education. And though the government has recognized the need to impart the supplementary teaching, and they are building a resilient mechanism for education delivery, and for this purpose, as you said, one class, one TV channel program has been extended to 200 TV channels under the program of PM of eVidya. And it is going to, I hope it is implemented very soon, and this will enable all the states to provide supplementary education in regional languages also from classes 1 to 12. Even in the vocational courses, to promote a lot of critical thinking skills, to give space for creativity. Around 750 virtual labs in science, mathematics, 75 skilling e-labs for simulated learning environment are also going to be set up. The government this time also has given money. I don't know exactly how much budget has been allocated, but new pedagogies of audio books, virtual exhibitions, graphic novels also has been highlighted in a great detail. As we all know that Dr. Sheetal Sharma is going to be the expert comment. She will be, we'll ask her to come at the end. But before I invite Dr. Sheetal Sharma with her expert comment, I'd like to ask one question each from the panelists. I'd like to ask Dr. Ms. Anu Bhatia that a lot of great elaborate plans are there now, and they are being appreciated by one and all. The budget looks to be very, very fresh. NEP has come with a lot of hope, and a lot of propaganda has gone into it, the NEP. Now people are aware that there is a new education policy, and we as educators are gearing up and learning how to come about and bring the dynamics into actual force. But still the results somehow are not as we expect them. What should we do to bridge the gap of planning and execution? And what do you think we as educators, what steps can we take to do this? I'd like to ask Ms. Anu Bhatia, what do you think about this? What can we do as educators? Anu ma'am, you're on mute.
Yes. Yes. This is my question because it is coming to my mind every time. Only planning will not work. So what should we do for its execution? So here my suggestion that values should be incorporated, as right now Grable ma'am is saying that physical teaching, online teaching would not suffice. The some areas like students, they are not meeting their age group friends. They are not sharing the ideas with their age groups. Yes, by sitting in a four-wall room and playing the mobile games and everything will not suffice. So wherever values are missing, see, whenever values are missing, you become dare to follow anything. And if the child is going to school, he learned to pray God, he learned to follow so many things. That brings humility in his mind, that make him somehow softness and somehow to think about society towards mankind. So here the planning and execution gap is coming because of mismanagement, because of some practices like corruption and bureaucracy, red tapeism. So these kind of things can be removed through values. I know it's a very indirect answer, but I feel this is the most appropriate way. When we human beings will develop or will think about these values, we won't go in wrong direction. We won't promote these kind of habits, and that will help us in real execution.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Anu ma'am. Neelam ji, again, I'd just like to call you once again before we move on towards the closing comments.
Yes, I'm very much here, Rita ma'am.
Yes. Rima ji spoke about the huge learning loss that is happening when the children are confined to their houses. But the finance minister has also spoken about that the best public universities and institutions in the country now will collaborate as a network of hub spokes. So do you think the private sector has contributed something in the advancement of education during the lockdown period and the COVID call, as it was known as? So do you think the contribution of the private sector should be recognized in imparting education to our children when we were all cooped up in our homes?
Definitely, yes, Rita ma'am. But I would like to begin where Anu ma'am ended. That was about children coming to school. You know, as school principals, it is one of our favorite thing, and we are actually looking forward to have children back in schools. It is not only parents who want to send children to school, it is us educationists. We also desperately want children to come to school, because I think the place meant for children to learn is school only, right? And children only bring life to school. And I'm sure when you were talking about how to bridge the learning gap, Anu ma'am, you would also get agree, because when they come to school, they have a fixed schedule. You know, as you also mentioned that their day begins with prayer, you know, and humility comes. And along with this, I think they they become okay if they are being observed by the teachers, if they are being ticked off by the teachers. And, you know, out of 100% students, 80% come into discipline. And everything, even learning, starts from discipline. And it can happen in school. And I'm sure, and I'm hopeful, like you all, that when children would start coming to school, we would surely do a lot to fill that gap which has come. And as educationists, we always are hopeful, and that's what we teach our children. Right. Thank you, Rita ma'am, for taking more time. Now I'll come to your question. Yes, of course. Rita ma'am, if we talk about this current government and budget, I would say current government has been more oriented towards digitization in all aspects including education, which is, of course, both futuristic and commendable. And we were discussing about the children have lost their numeracy and literacy skill during this pandemic. So they have tried to recognize the loss of formal education for children. And particularly if we talk about government school. So bringing in the experience of foreign universities to boost fintech and mathematical teaching is a good idea. But I am afraid that entire budget did not offer directions to private education companies, particularly in K-12 segment, if we talk about. And private sector suffered the brunt of pandemic and budget simply ignored it. As Anume mentioned, that no exemption in GST and no provision of private schools to borrow fund from banks, especially at reduced rates. So this has highly essential and expected from this budget. And it is, when Grewal ma'am was mentioning about the regular school teaching, I would say, yes, it is not feasible to modify the system and put it online immediately. The existing traditional schooling system should have been prioritized. This high-tech digitization should not be a choice. It's only a little adjustment, and school system will not work on these adjustments. Majority of parents still want children to send to schools and to private school. I'm sorry, but to private school. And government has avoided any discussion of private schools in the budget. Rural educational institution infrastructure development should have been highlighted, and it is the necessity, and they have done it, and I really appreciate that. But all of the training is for teacher at government aided school. What about private school teachers? What are they supposed to do? The budget did not include any of the basic facilities that should have been incorporated. Again, I appreciate the government not going for a populist budget, rather a forward-looking one that will help create jobs and productive capacity. In the end, I would like to say that they have tried to match up with the current requirement of the education sector in a fair manner. Thank you, Rita ma'am.
Thank you so much, Neelamji. Thank you so much. Very, very informative. Yes, the government has tried its level best to focus on digital education, on skill development, vocational education, e-learning in the regional languages. They have tried to create jobs in the new arena of animation, visual effects, gaming and comic promotion task forces have been set up. Startups are being promoted, drone Shakti, and now there is a lot of focus on the specialized learning in the higher education also. The government has also spoken about the mental health of the students, and they are trying to set up a lot of tele-mental health programs also to encourage children to move forward. So with the high quality e-content in all the spoken languages is going to be delivered through the mobile phones, TV, digital teachers. A very competitive mechanism for development of the quality e-content is also going to be set up to equip teachers to empower them with digital tools of teaching and facilitate better learning outcomes. Now with this discussion, now we move to the comment of Dr. Sheetal Sharma, who is from the Center for European Studies. Her research interests are in the culture and society in Europe, international relations and diaspora studies, gender and empowerment of women, higher education, research methodology, and social sciences. Dr. Sheetal Sharma has done MPhil and PhD in supervision in the broad areas of international relations with a focus on sociological understanding of nature, structure, and dynamics of social and cultural institutions in Europe. And I think with this introduction, Dr. Sheetal Sharma, who is now the assistant professor at the Center for European Studies, prior to joining Jawaharlal Nehru University, she was the lecturer at the Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon, India, and she has taught emergence of sociological theory in Europe and methodology of social sciences as curriculum of degree program of London School of Economics and Political Science. Dr. Sharma also holds a BA Honours degree in Sociology from DU and holds PG and doctoral degree in Sociology from the Center and Study of Social Systems, JNU, New Delhi. And definitely with so much research and regularly writing on the relevant issues in India and Europe for journals and magazines of national and international repute. She is also interested in writing about the issues which are relevant to education in India, particularly higher education. She has also completed video lecture series in sociologies for CIET, NCRT project, NROER, and with so much of experience, research, and first-hand information, definitely your words are going to now put, I think, the last comments, as Dr. Gulshan Sharma said, and enlighten us. So we welcome you, Dr. Chital Sharma, to share your views on this important topic.
Thank you so much, Rita ma'am, and good evening to everyone. Namaskar, Gulshan sir, and to all the audience, those who are listening to us very carefully and patiently. Now, I have been teaching at university level for last 10-15 years, but I am more connected to school education, because for last 12 years, since I can say 2010, I've been working on the project of digitization of books, for which almost 120 episodes I have recorded for sociology and political science, and also very much part of Swayam, the MOOCs program offered on the Swayam platform. And now the K-12, E-Vidya channel, E1, 2, 3, 4, I have recorded few videos for that also. So sometimes people think that I am more connected to NCRT rather than JNU. But I feel so proud about this fact. And to all my teachers out there, Anu ma'am, Neelam ma'am, Rita ma'am, Rima, everyone, I always say, Gulshan sir, one thing, okay, we just sit at a particular level. जैसे फल कट के आ जाता है, हम उस पर नमक डाल देते हैं और उसको खा लेते हैं, ठीक है. और क्या होता है, जब बच्चा थीसिस जमा करता है तो वो लिखता है, द सुपरवाइजर, द गाइड हैज बीन अ फिलोसोफर, अ फ्रेंड, अ फलाना एंड अ ढिमका. बट आई टेल देम, बेटा, डोंट राइट आवर नेम, write the name of the person who has sown the seeds, who has planted this garden, who has raised you to this level. And this is why my namaskar to all of you, ma'am, and you cannot believe, I'm actually feeling your goosebumps, when I talk to teachers. You are the people, you are the God on earth, actually speaking. Not in the terms of God being a religious figure or something like that. God, the person who can actually touch your spirit, your soul, guide you and take you from this life to that life. And that is what is trans. That is what is learning. And I tell you one thing very honestly. Suppose I say, Rima was saying that she has a young child. Even I am a mother of a young child and a small child, school-going boy. And teachers have such a capacity to influence you, to touch you. Suppose tomorrow there is an annual function, Gulshan sir, and Rita ma'am has to say, Rita ma'am has to say कि पीला रंग पहनना है. And if she says ये color पीला है, my God, the kids would make you run the entire Jaipur city, but uske shade mein itna bhi antar nahi hona chahiye. You are gods. Students, teacher, young. और बच्चा भगवान का रूप होता है. They are not contaminated minds like us. Those who are ideologically driven, philosophically driven, economically driven, absolutely not. The pure soul understands yellow Rita madam wala to ye hi chahiye, no matter at what cost it comes. This is you, ma'am. And I tell you very honestly कि शिक्षा का ये जो महत्व है, ये एक बच्चे के, एक parent के अंदर जाना चाहिए. Rather than बच्चा, it is the parents who have to learn the value of education, because they are the practitioners of the values at home. And this is why I want to emphasize upon a couple of things here. That when we are looking at budget के बारे में बहुत बात हो गई, and how we are doing it, वो भी बहुत हो गया. I'm going to touch upon certain other aspects of learning and education, which makes it so essential for a country like ours, which is having a huge population. Now, as a teacher, as a research methodologist, I always venture any topic from 4 dimensions. Primary 4 questions. What are we doing? Why are we doing? How are we doing? And for whom are we doing? ये 4 आयाम है. This is a 4-dimensional box that we have to understand. 3D भी नहीं है, ये 4 है. इसके आगे as a political scientist you can add where and when also. जैसे French Revolution का है, what, why, how, when, where, how. All these things are there, but let's begin with these 4 fundamental questions. अब पहला क्या है, what? All of us are at the same page कि what are we doing? Union budget is emphasizing more, as everybody has pointed out, on the digitization. Why digitization? First of all, it's a need of our, because it's a global trend. From artificial intelligence to augmented reality to virtual reality, how we are connected to each other, make in India, produce in India, grow in India, whatever program we are talking about, from our pollution to water, to clean drinking water, to thinking, to anything, you think about anything, and science is inherently embedded in all these things. So you just cannot think anything other than science. Although, of course, you derive pride in your heritage, in your culture, in your tradition, but this is the need of our. But unfortunately, this need of our has also brought about one very important thing, because Gulshan sir, we are not Nordic countries. We are not 10 lakh ki population, है ना, which is just the Dwarka of New Delhi. Yes. We are, आप जयपुर में कोई city देख सब city देख सकते हैं, which is 10 lakh. We are not Dwarka. We are 125. And this is too much. 1.25 billion से ज़्यादा ही है. The moment I'm speaking, और भी number बढ़ता जा रहा है. So
138.
138. So sorry for bringing it down, but हम इतनी बड़ी population है कि here we are just doing a topical treatment. जैसे सब्जी पे धनिया छिड़क दिया है. If we talk about the budget, if we talk about the percentage of budget of total GDP, if we talk about digitization, because some of the bunyadi, the foundational things we are not focusing upon, which are very important. And this is where we lack. The last 2 years, digitization is rightly emphasized upon in these 2 years, because I tell you, ma'am, one thing again, and Anu ma'am and Neelam ma'am, Rita ma'am, you will agree with me, that when everything came to standstill, sab ruk gaya. We went into 6th gear. क्यों? Because बच्चे घर पे हैं, इतना शोर मचा रहे हैं, क्या करें? तो कोई पढ़ाई करनी है. अब पढ़ाई करनी है तो ये तो सेशन चल रहा है. क्या करें? अचानक से everybody, even the teachers, the parents, they were looking for an alternative way to remain connected. And thanks to teachers, once again, sir, इतनी जल्दी खोजा है the medium, the mechanism, the माध्यम to remain connected. And Zoom aaya, Zoom, Broom, Zoom, whatever you could have done, we have done every possible experimentation. And I tell you, within 2 weeks, everything was running so smooth. Ma'am, am I right, Rita ma'am? 2 weeks.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely.
2 week में मैम बच्चों को भी पता चल गया था क्या करना है और टीचर्स को भी. और शायद 2 weeks तो मैं ज्यादा लिबरल एस्टिमेट कर रही हूँ, बहुत जल्दी समझ में आ गया था. बिकॉज द मोमेंट आप कहती हैं ना भगवान के में कि पीला, जब आपने कहा बेटा ये करना है, तो दे वर डूइंग इट. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली इसमें क्या हुआ कि देयर इज अ ग्रेट डिजिटल डिवाइड दैट हैज कम इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस. Swayam ka, the mool mantra of Swayam, I use Hindi words and Sanskrit words, sir. I think my audience is going to connect to that. So the foundational principle of MOOCs was that on Swayam, that it is going to achieve 3 cardinal principles of equity, equality, and access. Now, I always say that it is not the quality कि आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि remote area में teacher की quality अच्छी नहीं है. Teachers are everywhere, committed thoroughly to their task. But quality कैसे आएगी? Here I am sitting in front of say a screen or a gadget or whatever you can say. And if I have to tell you about French Revolution, I can tell you कि थोड़ा एक PPT दिखा दिया, साथ में video run कर दिया, audio सुना दिया. Those people are doing without any support system. Ma'am, am I right? आपके पास smart screens हैं. You are just swiping and using so much of it. I remember I'm a government school product, and in those days, history books, they had a very limited kind of explanations कि क्या है. चित्र नहीं थे इतनी colorful sir, books नहीं होती थी. Sir, am I right बड़े भैया? So if you had to imagine कि कुतुब मीनार क्या होता है, and I'll show you something, कुतुब मीनार क्या होता है, and there was a diagram. I've just drawn it for you on a plain paper. This was the diagram in my history book. So I used to think myself कि अरे ये तो barbed wire है जो पौधे को बचाने के लिए लगाई होती है. How can it be feet and meters tall? The imagination of a child cannot go that far. And remember, आज के ज़माने में, when we are talking about download it, do this, do that, do this, how can a person, ma'am was talking about, अभी अनु मैम बात कर रहे थे कि how come a person who remains in a regional area, a remote village, जहां आपको नेटवर्क भी जाके पेड़ की 3 शाखाओं के ऊपर चढ़ के और नीचे से मम्मी कहती है अरे गिर जाएगा, कम डाउन, क्या कर रहा है, कहाँ जा रहा है, and the person has to cycle 2-3 kilometers to go to a pulia where he can download it and come back, and then data packs and all. This digital divide has actually created so much of pain in my heart that if possible I could have, or will collectively have to decide, or we have to imagine ways in which we can overcome this digital divide. Now there are a couple of things. Sir, मैं ज्यादा time तो नहीं ले रही हूँ.
Take as much time as you want. आज सब पतिदेव को खाना बनाने दो, सबके चलो.
That's the motivation, क्योंकि मुझे women empowerment पे भी आना है. Now, अब जब हम कहते हैं what में एक तो ये हो गया digitization है, emphasis is on digitization. The second is that we have to do 2-3 things. We have to fulfill the philosophical foundation of the enterprise of education. Second, we have to look at the theoretical aspects and then at the practical aspects. So philosophical जो है वो it is about values. And अभी मैम बता रहे थे, नीलम मैम, अनु मैम भी बोल रहे थे, रीता मैम भी, कि this we are looking forward to going back to the school. And all of you are very right कि schools में जो होता है there is a different kind of learning. I'll put this add some extra points to it because being a parent I also know, and I also have studied in school, and we never had a privilege of having 2 साल की छुट्टी, 2-2.5 साल की छुट्टी, जो जितनी भी हमारे लोगों की इच्छाएं थी ना कि छुट्टी मिले वो इस जनरेशन में पूरी हो गई है सबकी. Long 2-year holiday. Now coming on to this, that why do we need such kind of a going back to school? The way we devised a mechanism to remain connected, fantastic, but I would use some Hindi words sir here. ये तंत्र है, इसमें मंत्र नहीं है. This is just the body, it is not the soul. It is the object, but it is not the subject that you are talking about. तो कहीं ना वो जो आत्मा है शिक्षा की, वो कैसे आती है? रीता मैम की चुन्नी डायरेक्ट कलर देखकर आती है, मुझे वैसे नहीं आती है ना, क्योंकि टीचर है. टीचर इज नॉट जस्ट टीचिंग थ्रू हिज वर्ड्स और हर वर्ड्स, इट इज द आचरण that the child is grasping. और वो कहते हैं be the change that you want to see. And the way you speak, ma'am, the way you talk, the way you walk, all of us, आज गुलशन सर से पूछ लीजिए, बड़े भैया हैं, कि कहीं ना कहीं कोई मैडम जरूर याद होगी इनको मन में कि ऐसे करती थी, तो इन्होंने कहीं ना कहीं वो स्टाइल जरूर कॉपी मारा होगा. मैं तो बहुत मारती हूँ सर, है ना, क्योंकि मैडम जो है ना मेरे अंदर, मेरे जोश में, मेरे जज्बे में बसी हुई हैं. And I really want to, actually I imitate some of them because they have left lifelong impressions in my mind. So ये जो तंत्र है ना, इसमें मंत्र नहीं है. And the teachers are the souls of the learning. They are the people, those who actually make this effective. Otherwise, किताब तो अपनी dependence, अपनी reading, अपनी चश्मे की power पे कोई भी पढ़ लेगा. It's just a language that you read. It is the connection जो teacher के साथ होता है ना सर, पूरे दिन में देख के, no matter you are a backbencher, but still you are observing something. Number 2, not just the teacher, the peer. हम घर में क्या है, बड़ा privileged and what do you call, pampered. ले खा ले बैठ ले कर ले, अब एक क्लास के बाद अचार आ रहा है, फिर आम आ रहा है, फिर ले बेटा अमरूद खा ले, भूख लग रही है केला खा ले, जूस पी ले. There is a kind of constant pampering every 15 minutes. देखो कोई तंग मत करना, काम वाली शोर ना मचाए, all that is going, and the बच्चा may be doing this, but still, sir, the world, बच्चे are the most ruthless. You just observe them, ma'am. Kindergarten में देखिए, एक डॉल पसंद आ जाएगी, दूसरे को है देगा नहीं, he will just clasp it. That's the competitive spirit which we are missing right now, and the kids are getting reduced to balcony and screen kids. But it is not their fault also, because this is what they've been asked to do. This is what somehow सर एक दूसरे उस पे चला जाएगा कि जो हमारी सोशल फॉर्मेशंस हैं, सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, जो फैमिली थी, जो ग्रुपिंग्स थी, जो कम्युनिटी लिविंग थी, वो सब मटेरियल डेंसिटी, एज मटेरियल डेंसिटी हैज गॉन अप, दैट मॉरल डेंसिटी हैज गॉन डाउन. And that is why our kids have become balcony kids. We themselves, we sometimes say हमारे ज़माने में ये होता था, हम बैठते थे शादी में 10-10 दिन पहले जाते थे and all these things, and we used to enjoy with our cousins and all that. But do we do the same thing now? We ourselves have so much of restrictions and constraints and behavioral patterns and restrictions that we don't do, and we expect our kids to do. How will they do? This is a kind of najaiz demand upon the kids that they must learn this. So we have actually done the material density up and moral density down, and now we are saying वही सर एक बहुत अच्छा मीम आता है व्हाट्सएप पे कि फोन खराब हो गया तो बच्चे ने कर दिया, और बच्चा खराब हो गया तो फोन ने कर दिया. It's the who does what, cause and consequence. It's a vicious circle. And that is why, sir, it is very important that how do we tackle this situation? हमारे सिस्टम में बहुत सी एडवांटेजेस हैं, बहुत सी डिसएडवांटेजेस हैं, बट हाउ डू वी टैकल देम? टैकल जो है वो मल्टी प्रोंग्ड है. इट्स नॉट जस्ट वन अप्रोच. And Anu ma'am was very right, Neelam ma'am, Rita ma'am, Rima, all of you are very right. Ki digitization is just one band-aid. It's not the complete surgery of the entire system. It can help only a few people or select few, but it cannot bring a revolutionary transformation. Trust me. Because unless you have the last man standing for the boat, for the device, आप अपने घरों में देखिए, हम अपने बच्चों को 2-2 स्क्रीन दे देते हैं, एक वाईफाई गया दूसरा दे देते हैं, लाइट गई जनरेटर ऑन हो जाता है. But the families where there is just one phone, that too a very basic device, उसमें भी 3 बच्चे हैं, कहाँ जाएंगे? And we want upliftment of society. इस तरीके से नहीं हो सकती. इसलिए स्कूल जाना बहुत जरूरी है. कि मैडम रीता मैम कि कुछ नहीं पढ़ पा रहा था, कम से कम स्कूल में तो था, कुछ तो देख रहा था, कुछ तो सीख रहा था, है ना? So there is a need to actually step out and learn in the physical settings. Number 2, you have to decentralize the entire process, in which public-private partnership is very important. It is not just that those who are amassing wealth on the name of digitization, offering programs, this. If you are making money from the rich people, the slice of the society, you just have to send some of your benefits to the society, which does not or cannot afford the valuable education or the education that comes with money. So it has to be decentralized with public and private partnership. More so, the values of equality and eradicating inequalities have to be inculcated among kids. Number 3, the family has to be made a stakeholder completely. The family cannot say, ये तो मैडम का काम है, हम नहीं बताते. Why? Did madam give birth to these 35 kids in the class? है? आपने किया है ना? And you just think you pay 10,000 रुपए महीने का fees and you have got rid of your child? No, absolutely not. This is not the way. Ma'am, in PTM, please make it a point कि we are parents just for 8 hours, है ना? Will you give your entire salary, your house and everything to the teacher in order to take 24-hour or 24/7 care of your kid? Absolutely, nobody will go for this bargain. If this is too ruthless, what I'm speaking right now, if it sounds too ruthless, at least family has to be made part and parcel of the complete package of development of a child's personality. कि घर में तो आप दुराचार करो या दूसरे की तरह का आचरण करो, बाहर आके आप इक्वालिटी की बात करोगे. घर में तो आप लेडीज की इज्जत ना करो, बाहर आके बोलो कि मैं जेंडर इक्वालिटी की बात करूंगा. दिस कैन नॉट हैपन. इट्स नॉट जस्ट बेटी बचाओ. सिर्फ बेटी क्यों? सिर्फ गुलशन सर क्यों ठेका लें बेटी का? बहन क्यों नहीं? फ्रेंड क्यों नहीं? है मित्र क्यों नहीं? क्या और किसी रिलेशन में लड़की नहीं, जेंडर नहीं होती है फीमेल? तो प्रोजेक्शन जो है, इट हैज टू गो जस्ट बियॉन्ड द पेट्रियार्की. जस्ट फादर का रोल है, जस्ट बड़े का रोल है. ना. एवरीबडी इन द फैमिली हैज टू बी मेड इक्वल स्टेक होल्डर इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ नॉट जस्ट वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट, बट पूरे घर के विकास में. तभी तो समाज विकास करेगा, और समाज विकास करेगा तो देश विकास करेगा. ये पैचवर्क हो गया ना सर. मखमल पे टाट का पैबंद लग गया या टाट पे मखमल का पैबंद लग गया ना, तो हम लोग कहीं नहीं पहुंच पाएंगे. ये वेस्टर्न सोसाइटीज मक्खन जैसी क्यों है? क्योंकि सीमलेस है. हमारे यहाँ पैची डेवलपमेंट है, और जब तक इन पैचेस को इरेडिकेट नहीं किया जाएगा, जब तक वो नहीं होगा. And finally, I can go on and on.
Sorry, just so that we don't lose track of that, the thing that you just raised. I'd like to add here that I totally agree with each and every word that you have said, ma'am. Everything. But ये जो आपने बात बोली ना कि जो घर वाले हैं उनको भी responsibility, equal responsibility लेनी है vis-a-vis what the school is doing. उसमें क्या होगा? इवेंचुअली वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी ना मदर की ही होती है, right? I mean, most of us would probably agree. The responsibility is also given to the mother. Nobody talks about the fact that, you know, father, I'm not saying that many fathers are not involved equally. They are, and we've been blessed with our, parents and spouses who've been equally supportive. But I'm just saying, on a larger scale, eventually जो duty responsibility है ना, वो भी mother पे ही आती है. Nobody talks about responsibilities to be given to the father to actually inculcate some values or discipline into the kid. Just adding here, you please continue. I was loving your
You're
discourse.
very right, Rima. I completely agree with you. Am I on unmute mode? Yes.
Yes.
Now, as a teacher, आप क्या क्या करते हैं? I'll just take another 2-3 minutes and wind up. As a teacher, we just do not teach. Syllabus नहीं complete करते हैं. We are much more than a syllabus completer. Sir, Gulshan sir, सिर्फ a plus b whole square नहीं सिखा रही हूँ मैं, is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. नहीं. I am a communicator. मैं आपके अंदर प्राण शक्ति डाल रही हूँ. How to express yourself, how to converse with the person. आप देखते हैं all of us are teachers, और आप देखते हैं मैम रीता मैम, कुछ बच्चे क्लास में ही हाथ उठा लेते हैं, कुछ जब आप रजिस्टर उठा रही होती हैं क्लास के बाद जब आते हैं, कुछ वहां भी नहीं आएंगे, कुछ क्लास के बाद भाग भाग के बाहर आएंगे, मैम आई वांटेड टू आस्क यू. नहीं सर. और कुछ बेचारे कभी भी नहीं हो पाते, ट्यूशन वाली से पूछ लूंगा मैम से बहुत शर्म आ रही है. We are dealing with types of personalities. So what are we doing here? We are actually at one point of time, sir. यहाँ तो सिर्फ 5 screens beam हो रहे हैं. We are getting scanned also and we are scanning also. Continuous, इतने neurons इधर से उधर भाग रहे होते, cross connection. We are a communicator, and over a period of time, from first, if you observe sometimes from class 1 to class 5, class 6 to class 8, 8 to 12, how do we see students transforming? हम खुद ही कहते हैं अरे पीयूष तू तो बड़ा अच्छा हो गया भाई, अच्छा बोला डिबेट में, पहले आया था तो कितना शर्माता था. We are sir communicating and we are teaching this subtle way. प्राण शक्ति फूक रहे हैं बच्चों में. We are a learner from them also. I learn so many things from my students. इतना तो मुझे भी नहीं आता जितना उन सबको कलेक्टिवली 35 को आता है ना. But there is a different way of learning, and we're learning and exchanging, communicating, and we are also packaging it. और फिर अंत में ये उसको सबको कंसोलिडेट करके लो जी थमा दिया, दिस इज द कंक्लूजन. बिकॉज एवरीथिंग कैन नॉट बी जस्ट लर्न इन 2+2 ways. इट इज समटाइम्स मच मोर देन दैट. वी आर अ विजनरी. आज हम बच्चे को सिर्फ 2-3 में पूछिए क्या बनना है, डॉक्टर इंजीनियर. 4-5 तक क्या बनना है, डॉक्टर इंजीनियर, नर्स भी, पायलट भी. फिर क्या बनना है आगे, IAS ऑफिसर. 8-9 तक, 12 तक जाके PhD करना है, ये करना है, वो करना है. इंजीनियरिंग की भी ब्रांच स्पेसिफाई हो जाती है, एरोनॉटिकल में जाना है, सिविल में जाना है, ये होता है. वी आर विजनरीज. वी सो द सीड्स ऑफ विजन इन द माइंड्स ऑफ द किड्स. और इस विजन को लेके बच्चे अपने फ्यूचर को इमेजिन करते हैं. But this has to be then also supported by the kind of the social, material, infrastructural, familial, community, whatever you can say, the kind of backup. We are models for them, not in the sense of glamour, but we are in the sense that actually that they try to imitate their teachers. They try to behave like them. If teachers are able to leave an impression upon them, fantastic. I remember some of my teachers till date. अभी भी मैं कहीं ना कोई गुलाटी मैडम को रिफ्लेक्ट कर रही हूँ, अगर कहीं मैडम मुझे सुन रही होंगी तो. और सर उसके बाद we are collaborators. We tell them how to work in team, and we make them leaders. We make them adapters, and we make them innovators. So you just do not know what many functions, multi-pronged, multifunctional body a teacher is. Finally, I would say, something I bring back heritage a lot in my discussions, and I'll quote something from Mahabharata, and that's my interpretation. Sir, वो एकलव्य का अंगूठा काटने वाला वो याद है ना आपको? तो these days, one day I was just sitting in the last 2 years कि मैं भी तो digitally पढ़ा रही हूँ बच्चों को, and sometimes everybody goes off the screen और screen बंद रहता है, and हम लगे रहते पढ़ाने बच्चों को पूरी शिद्दत से कि देखो this is economy, this is politics, this is Europe, this is society, this is culture. पूरा का पूरा passion comes out of this. फिर मैं बैठे बैठे एक दिन ऐसे सोच रही थी, मैंने कहा let me see, this एकलव्य का अंगूठा कटने वाला concept. क्या है? Sir, the Gurukul was the physical education system. But what Eklavya did, he was doing the correspondence education. ये digital वाला लगा लीजिए आप. तो he had made a मूर्ति and he was learning. और जब उससे देखा कि भाई बड़ा अच्छा कर रहा, लर्निंग बहुत अच्छी हो गई कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस में और डिजिटल में, बड़ी क्या रहा, तो गुरु द्रोणाचार्य गए उसका टेस्ट लेने, तो उन्होंने कहा तीर वीर मार, तो उसने वो स्वान का मुंह भर दिया था और फिर सब कुछ कर दिया. तो उन्होंने कहा बेटा तूने कैसे सीखा? कि सर मैंने डिजिटली सीखा. तो सब लोग जानते हैं और बड़ा बैड लाइट में उसको पोर्ट्रे करते हैं कि क्योंकि उनको अर्जुन को सबसे ग्रेट धनुर्धर बनाना था, दैट्स व्हाई ही आस्क्ड हिम टू गिव अस दिस. इसका सर अ टीचर्स इंटरप्रिटेशन. अंगूठा is what? Angutha is the most important part of your body used in archery, because if you don't have this, you cannot. ठीक है. अब ये मांगने का मतलब क्या है कि जो शिक्षा का सबसे महत्वपूर्ण फाउंडेशन था वो तो आया ही नहीं. उसको ये तो आया सर कि तीर मारना है निशाने पे. उसको क्या नहीं आया? क्यों मारना है, किसकी सुरक्षा के लिए मारना है, कब मारना है और कब नहीं चलाना, और किस पे चलाना और किस पे रोकना है. The moral values that a teacher gives just along with fulfilling the syllabus needs, he could not get all that because he did not observe Guru ka acharan in Gurukul. So what was missing was the philosophy, the life, the soul of education. And what he knew was only completing the syllabus. And that is why this is Dyotak. Dyotak is indicative. Dyotak is Hindi ka word hai. This is indicative of the fact कि सबसे मुख्य नहीं आया तो क्या आया. And that is why हमारा जो मैम डिजिटल, रीता मैम, अनु मैम, नीलम मैम एंड रीमा मैम, all of you, वही है कि गुरु गोविंद दोनों खड़े आपके लागू पाए, बिकॉज आप ही लोगों ने बच्चों को गोविंद दियो मिलाए, है ना. सो जब तक ये नहीं आएगा ना, जो एसेंस ऑफ लाइफ है, लर्निंग है, एजुकेशन है, ये जो हम करते हैं ना, यूनियन बजट में इतना आ गया, उतना आ गया, क्या आया क्या नहीं आया, मेरे पास क्या है, तेरे पास क्या है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्या है क्या नहीं है, ये सब उस स्टेज की बातें हैं जब हम नॉर्डिक्स होते, 5 लाख लोग हैं, 10 लाख लोग हैं, बड़ी कंट्री है, सबको अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बेनिफिट भी मिल रहा है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी मिल रहा है, फ्री एजुकेशन है, सब कुछ है. बट इस कंट्री में बहुत ज्यादा जो रिक्वायर्ड है इज अ सोसाइटल एंड फिलोसॉफिकल चेंज टुवर्ड्स द एंटरप्राइज ऑफ एजुकेशन. And Gulshan sir, for this we need the best of the talent to get attracted to teaching. Not just कि कुछ नहीं मिला तो teaching करने लग गए. Thank you so much for your patience.
Wonderful, wonderful. All my participants, my happy family, I'm so very happy to listen to all of you. And I run short of my words to convey my deepest gratitudes and thanks. पिछले इस 1435 वेबिनार में जो कुछ मैंने accumulate किया है as a open question, I'll leave it for all of you in next 3 minutes. Before I close down, no reply to be given, nothing. The session gets over, but I'm leaving some food for thought for all of us. First of all, 1.4K people joined from world over and maximum participants were from Canada. There were a couple of questions. My apologies, I have not taken, but I'll talk to you tonight and I will take on Vikas Malhotra ji. I'll talk Natarajan ji, I'll take on. So let me leave certain things with you. Nobody wants to change in life unless the pain of the change is more severe than what I'm bearing now. Nobody wants to change. Today, what I'm going to say, Macaulay will take turns in his graveyard and he will say, where from this sucker has come? I didn't want to listen and I didn't want to talk to him. This education, what we are talking today, how old is it? When did it start? Where did it start? And why it started? Let's talk about that as well. Few questions I'm going to leave open with all of you as a thought. And from there, you will get an idea. 1835, he going to British Parliament and just making a statement, although Sheetal is the authority, but as an elder brother, I'm taking a privilege because elders are always right in our system, in our sanskaras. He went, and that was the month of February only. And it was 4th of February. And that is today, 1835. And he went to British Parliament and he made a statement over there. If you want to stay in India, if you want to live in India, if you want to rule in India, you have to first destroy their education ecosystem. Unless you don't, इनकी रीढ़ की हड्डी नहीं तोड़ोगे तो तुम वहां नहीं रह सकोगे. And when you look at that, where from it started, why it started, which way it started. So Macaulay, I curse you in your graveyard, wherever you are, take a turn and I'll kick you now. Forget about it, leave it there only. Let me just come little forward and share with all of you. We have to change. We have to change with the time. We have to change with the demand of the time. We have to change with the pedagogy of the time. We have to, and like she mentioned, Sheetal, like my little sister, when she made a mention, tackle karna hoga. How to tackle? Multitasking का जब उसने word use किया, there are lots of challenges. अगर मैं आज ये कहता हूँ कि I can quote the countries where there are not even 1/10 of the examination systems जितने हम करवाते हैं, weekly test, monthly test, quarterly test, half yearly test, yearly test. By the time the child passes, he says, मेरी जान क्यों ले रहे हो? And मैं आपको ऐसी countries दिखा सकता हूँ जहां पर children are performing much better, and your testing system. अब यहाँ पर 3 words हैं, बाद में अंग्रेजी में जाकर देखेंगे. What is examination? What is evaluation? And what is assessment? I will leave it here only. I don't want to touch it further. Everybody's role is changing. Everybody's role is changing. We do not want accountability. Nobody wants accountability. आज अगर हम ये कहें कि private sector is putting in more efforts vis-a-vis, I don't want to say, because I come from the uniform, I come from the government background, I served in the Ministry of Tourism, and I came with the NRIs. But the thing is, the moment private sector does something, हम उसको बोलते हैं यार ये private sector वाला है ना, ये grant ना ले जाए, ये NGO ना ले जाए, ये फलाना ले जाए. You spot that, and which is not correct. In the entire ecosystem, we have to take all of them together. And now making a very hard and a harsh statement. Next statement is very harsh, but I can't help it. I have to make it. When you serve uniform, when you serve armed forces, and when you go to far-flung areas, there are certain places where they don't have 2-time meals, what to talk of other things, and they don't have electricity, they don't have water supply, they have got lots of challenges and difficulty. Education comes a little later. मुझे पहले basic ज़रूरतें तो पूरी कर दो. Or if you ask my heart as an individual at the age of 72, I'm extremely, extremely happy that during this pandemic, the education has become transparent. Education has become accountable. There were many people, those were working very hard, but sycophants were not allowing them to come forward with their creativity, innovation, and collaboration. Now everybody is crying for collaboration today. It is needed. Now changing role of everybody. You know, I'm the greatest beneficiary during this pandemic. You would say, how? I've learned on my rooftop how to grow organic vegetables. I eat 1-time meal and I take garlic, ginger and turmeric. हल्दी, लहसुन और प्याज की सब्जी बगैर घी की 3 चपातियों के साथ, and my energy level and my body has become much better than before. I'm more energetic. I feel I'm 25 years old and I have to join the school once again. That is the way it's bubbling inside. Okay, coming to the next point. Ministry of External Affairs, our embassies and high commissions abroad. Earlier, they were taking only political alliances and looking forward to political hierarchies, balances and everything and all that. Today, the role of embassy has also got changed. They got to see economy also. And the thought is coming, why not you should have a tourism desk outside of the embassy to promote your country's tourism, inbound tourism. At the same time, why not they should talk about quality education ecosystem of India also. And our chamber has carried out a study in 131 countries. And जितनी research मैं इकट्ठी करके लेके आया हूँ इस pandemic में 2 साल में, when you talk to the people, they say, we don't want to come for graduation, we don't want to come for masters, we are not interested about your normal degree and all. Can you give us some kind of a spiritual knowledge? Because India has got something very special. So half the battle you have already won in 2016 when the Yoga Day has been launched, 21st of June. Yoga, meditation, naturopathy, Ayurveda, herbal thinking, positive thinking, logical thinking, creative thinking, innovative thinking. कुछ ना होते हुए भी सब कुछ का समावेश कर लेना is something. Now coming to digital part. I'm 200% in agreement with Sheetal ma'am कि पहले माँ बाप बच्चे पैदा करके सुबह एटीएम की तरह डिपॉजिट कर दो स्कूल में और शाम को एटीएम से जैसे पैसे ड्रॉ करते हैं वैसे ड्रॉ कर लो, उसको क्रच से उठा लो, कभी पिताजी ला रहे हैं, कभी माताजी ला रही, कभी अभी सब माँ बाप को पता लग गया कि बच्चे पैदा करना ही सब कुछ नहीं है, उनका पालन पोषण भी करना है. And I'm so very happy that some of my webinars, when I'm going through, and particularly hardcore education, grandmother is also sitting over there. And she tells me later on, Dr. Sharma, ये जो तुमने cover किया था ना, मैंने public में तुमसे नहीं पूछा, but I would like to know what exactly is that. Ladies and gentlemen, education has become accountable. Education has become transparent. And why do you think all the time कि जो 19th century की education थी industrial era में, factory के system में, बेंचों पे बिठा के, क्योंकि मुझे आपकी attendance लेनी थी, घंटी बजानी थी, टंग 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 करके factory में, कि आज आप आए हैं कि नहीं आए हैं, कितने बजे आए हैं, आपका output क्या है. I think we have to get back. And if you look back at 15th century, 16th century, I cannot go back in that era because children will not adopt that. हमको भी बदलना होगा, बच्चों को भी समझना होगा, बच्चे भी हमारे पास आएंगे और हम भी बच्चों के पास जाएंगे. Both have to walk to get closer to each other. That is the way the universe has to think of. And we have to start appreciating that the private sector is equally responsible. अब आ गई लास्ट क्वेश्चन, बड़ा दुखदाई. 1965 से कोठारी कमीशन से मैं सुन रहा हूं कि 6% ऑफ द जीडीपी शुड स्पेंड ऑन एजुकेशन इकोसिस्टम. अरे यार, वो 6% की कैलकुलेशन किसने हुई थी? आई एम नॉट फ्रॉम मैथमेटिक्स बैकग्राउंड. इफ यू गो इनटू द डिटेल्स, दैट 6% वाज फॉर दिस पर्पस कि जो उस समय बच्चे फैक्ट्रियों से, कंपनियों में और काम में जहां भी जा रहे थे, तो दे वर सेइंग कि इनका जो आउटपुट इकोनॉमी में आ रहा है दैट इज इक्विवेलेंट टू 6%. इसलिए यार्डस्टिक दिया गया था 6% का. Inflation has increased, money has increased. Are we still sticking to 6%? And where are we? 2019 we were at 2.8%. 2020 and 21 we are at 3.1%. Okay, so where are we? Let's come forward. Our chamber would be more than happy, and I would like to invite more and more ideas. I would like to invite more and more speakers. This Sunday, again the people are coming. Every Sunday is dedicated to NRIs. मैं NRIs को request कर रहा हूँ, अपने माता पिताजी की तख्ती मत लगाओ, नाली मत खुदवाओ, वहां कुआं मत खुदवाओ, वो काम बाद में होगा. बच्चे अडॉप्ट कर लो, कुछ डिजिटल डिवाइसेस दे दो, कुछ बैंडविड्थ दे दो, कुछ स्कूल्स के साथ जुड़ जाओ. एनआरआईज को रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं. और एक और चीज है, बजट में एक और चीज आ सकती थी विच वी कैन स्टिल से. जो आपने 2% सीएसआर एक्टिविटी में लगाया हुआ है कॉर्पोरेट हाउसेस का, व्हाई डोंट यू डिविएट दैट फॉर नेक्स्ट 5 years टुवर्ड्स एजुकेशन इकोसिस्टम? चलो ना, गांव तक पहुंचो ना. और लास्ट क्वेश्चन, जो शहरों में रहते हैं, हम 3 महीने गांव पढ़ाने जा सकते हैं क्या? कैन वी गो फॉर 3 months टू टीच इन विलेज? अरे ग्राउंड पे देख तो लो. मुझे तो यही नहीं पता था ऑर्गेनिक से, इससे पहले पैंडेमिक से, कौन सी जब सब्जी जमीन के अंदर उगती है और कौन सी ऊपर उगती है. मुझे अब समझ आई है कि इसकी फूकने का प्याज कहाँ को निकल रहा है और ये कहाँ को निकल रहा है. सो व्हाट आई वांट टू टेल वर्ल्ड ओवर, वी हैव टू गो प्रैक्टिकल. And why not education should be relevant to my day-to-day living and my day-to-day life. सुबह उठने से लेकर रात के सोने तक मुझे वो क्यों पढ़ा रहे हो, मेरी जान क्यों ले रहे हो बच्चों की? वो मत पढ़ाओ करिकुलम, वो उस चीजों की जरूरत नहीं है, वो पढ़ाओ. एंड दैट्स व्हाई प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड लर्निंग, केस स्टडी बेस्ड लर्निंग, लाइफ रिलेटेड लर्निंग. मेरे पास सर्टिफिकेट है जो मैंने फ्रेम कराया हुआ है इलेक्ट्रीशियन का, लेकिन मेरे को घर का बल्ब नहीं चेंज करना आता, तो मैं उस सर्टिफिकेट का क्या करूं? Thereby, there is a beautiful videos available. We will share in the next thought process. There is a lot coming, and this chamber, I have decided rest of my life till I am living on planet, because I lost very close friend of mine, Sir Ken Robinson has gone, and I lost him. And during this pandemic, I lost him. And he used to say, what is the purpose of education? And that is it a personal purpose? Is it a cultural purpose? Is it a social purpose? Is it economic purpose? I think there has to be a purpose for everything, whatsoever we do in our life. And there is a specific purpose you all have come. And all these questions are open because tomorrow there is an assessment of the Northeast part of India. The speakers are coming from Northeast and they are going to share their vision. What's happening is that 45 billion people. With these words, my deepest gratitude and thanks to all of you. It was a great learning. I added so much from all of you. And Rita ma'am, मुझे नहीं पता पिछले जन्म का क्या संबंध है, पर कहीं आप मेरी छोटी बहन रही होंगी, मुझे लगता है ऐसा. पर इस वर्तमान काल में शीतल ने मुझे अडॉप्ट कर लिया है एज ए बड़ा भैया, तो वो ठीक है. I am ready for that because there is so much to learn. एक अलग से अभी वेबिनार करना है इसके साथ. The population is aging world over. Why not to send some good teachers from India abroad? Why not to send some counselors from here abroad? Why not to send some technocrat abroad? There is no more brain drain. Don't think about that. Think about brain gain. Brain drain gain. Brain drain gain. That is the way it's coming musical. तो इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ आपका बहुत बहुत आभार. जयपुर में आप लोगों से मुलाकात होगी, फिर आपसे मिलेंगे एक ब्रेक के बाद, और शीतल मैम से दिल्ली में मुलाकात होगी. खुश रहिए, मुस्कुराते रहिए. Why don't we bring happiness and humor and musical and dances, everything in education ecosystem? इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ